Hi guys, Justin here. Well, let's dive right into today's topic. So what is the AMEX Platinum Card and is it worth it? So I'll be breaking down this vlog into 5 parts. 1. What is the AMEX Platinum Card? 2. What are the perks? 3. How do you get it? 4. What is my experience so far and is it worth it? Lastly, we'll end it off with Q&A. So the AMEX Platinum Card is one of the cards that AMEX is most known for, alongside the AMEX Centurion card, commonly known as the AMEX Black card. So why is this particular card so well known, right? Why is it that when people say, oh, I have the AMEX Black card, you immediately associate them with being wealthy or being rich? Well, one of the reasons is because AMEX Platinum Card is not a credit card per se, but it's a charge card. So I actually covered this in another video where I elaborated on the different types of credit cards as well as a charge card. But essentially the gist of it is a charge card has no preset spending limit, while a credit card has. Right? So for example, your credit card might have a monthly credit limit of $10,000, whereas a charge card, on the other hand, has no credit limit. So theoretically, you could actually buy a condo with one swipe of the card. But there's more to this no preset spending limit than meets the eye. So if you want to find out more, please do check out my other vlog over here. So another reason is because credit cards generally require only a minimum annual income of $30,000, but the AMEX Platinum card requires a minimum annual income of $200,000. Right? Honestly, in this day and age, with the rise of e-commerce, online businesses, the number of young millionaires are just rising so quickly. So $200,000 per annum income honestly just doesn't seem that unattainable anymore, right? And just so you know, AMEX actually just reduced their minimum annual required income from $200,000 to $120,000 per annum. So I'll touch a little bit more on that in a bit. So on to the second point, right? What are the perks? Well, so first of all, you get sign-up rewards. So when I signed up for it early last year, there was an ongoing promotional campaign where they gave away a free auto massage chair, which I gladly received because now, while I don't really use it that often, I think my mum uses it more than I do. But yeah, it was just a sweet gift. I also had an additional 100,000 points for spending 20,000 within the first 6 months of getting my application approved. Yeah, and I also got a couple of other vouchers as well, like a 3-day 2-night staycay at one of these hotels, and actually a bunch of other F&B airline travel credits as well. You also have access to private clubs, bars and gyms. For example, you get complimentary Tower Club membership. Essentially, Tower Club is the 62nd, 63rd and 64th floor of Republic Plaza. It is such a breathtaking view, honestly. So if you go up to the 62nd floor of Republic Plaza, you get greeted by the Pacific Lounge, where members can relax at while waiting for their guests. You also have Atlantic, which is a European restaurant. And you go on to the 63rd floor, you have Ba Xian, which is I believe it's a Cantonese Chinese restaurant. And you go to the 64th floor, my favorite, it's Straight Spa. I usually go there for business meetings. I go there to do some work in the afternoon. Honestly, you get to do work in such a breathtaking view of the Marina Bay, of the Central Business District. And it's just really quiet because not many people go there. Oh yeah, and on the 64th floor, which is also the penthouse, you get access to Tower Club's gym. It honestly doesn't have that much, but if you're not a professional bodybuilder, I think it has more than enough equipment to go by. Right, and also just a pointer to note, because you are not a direct Tower Club member, you do have to pay an additional surcharge of 10% because it's they call it a reciprocal fee. Meaning to say that if you are a reciprocal member of Tower Club from AMEX, AMEX is the one that refers you pay an additional 10%. So in addition to 10% service charge, in addition to 8% GST, you pay an additional 10% reciprocal fee, bringing your total surcharge to 28%. But to me, it's just 10%. Honestly, if you're spending $100 there, the additional 10% is only going to cost $10, which I think is worth it for the view that you're going to get, for the service that you're going to get, as well as, you know, just how conducive of an environment it is to conduct business meetings, and honestly just to have a really quiet time to do your work in the evenings or in the afternoons. So next, you also get complimentary parking at Great World City on Fridays, Saturdays and Sundays. How you get this complimentary parking, just go to the concierge at Great World City, show your AMEX Black card and they will give you a coupon, and this is unlimited. It's not limited to the first 50 or 100 AMEX Black customers per day. It's unlimited. Next, you also get 24/7 global concierge, which I actually called them once at 2 a.m. Not so much to check whether they were awake at 2 a.m. to confirm this 24/7. Okay, maybe it was, but at the same time, I just needed to make a status update check on a request that I made previously. And anyway, they actually did answer at 2 a.m. So I would say it's quite 24/7, Yeah, and anyway, you get Priority Pass as well, but I think Priority Pass is actually quite common. I believe a lot of other credit cards offer it as well, but yeah, this is just one of the additional perks. Priority Pass is also free for your first supplementary card holder. Yeah, but that's about it. It's only you and your first sub card holder. Right, okay, so the third pointer is how do you get it? So when I first applied for the AMEX Platinum Card early 2022, the annual requirement for your salary was still 200,000, but now as of Jan 2023, they have sort of reduced it to 120,000. And the reason why I'm saying sort of reduced it is because this income requirement of 120,000 is really just an MAS mandated requirement for all credit cards or charge cards that have no preset spending limit. I'll leave a link in the description if you guys want to read more on MAS's website. So as you can see, it still says the application is subjected to internal assessment. So what this means is you could potentially have a $120,000 annual income, but they could still reject you. So on this topic, for self-employed workers like myself, because my income is not stable, it's not the same every year, for self-employed persons, you actually need 2 years worth of your NOA, your Notice of Assessment. So what your Notice of Assessment is, for those of you who don't know, is essentially when you need to pay taxes every year. Come March, April, IRAS will send you this letter, and your NOA essentially dictates how much income tax you have to pay for the previous year. So apart from dictating how much income tax you have to pay, it also spells out your income for the previous year. So for self-employed persons, you actually require 2 years worth of NOA to show that yes, for the past 2 years I've been earning 200,000, or in this case now I have been earning 120,000 minimally for the past 2 years. Of course, having a higher income would naturally boost your chances of getting your credit card, or in this case charge cards, application approved. That might not necessarily be the only thing that they take into consideration, because credit card issuers will also take in your credit score, which the CBS has. Honestly, it doesn't really bother me that they have reduced the annual income to 120,000, because I mean, think about it, if you are getting a credit card just to show off the fact that you earn 200,000 a year, you really kind of have to change that mindset, because honestly, earning 200,000 a year in this current day and age is actually not that much in the grand scheme of things. And if you're basing off your personality on how much you earn, then I think it says a lot about you lah. But yeah, anyway, to me, it's not so much just about the annual income that's deterring people from applying for this card. It's also the fact that the annual fee for the AMEX Platinum Card is insanely high. After 8% GST this year, it's increased to $1,728 per year, which is easily 3 times the annual fees of other credit cards in the 120k segment. Right, so that's my take on Amex reducing their annual income requirement from 200,000 to 120,000 for the Amex Platinum Card. Right, so next up, is it worth it, and what's my experience so far? So I think it really depends on what you want to use the card for, or what your definition of worth it is, because I think it's subjective. My definition of worth it is not so much points based, it's not so much benefiting monetarily from using this particular card, because if you're looking at Amex Plat's MPD is 0.78 miles per dollar, as compared to the other cards in the 120k segment. You have the OCBC Voyage, the standard OCBC Voyage, that's giving you 1.3 miles per dollar. You have the City Prestige, which is also giving you 1.3 miles per dollar. You have the UOB Visa Infinite Card, which is giving you 1.4 miles per dollar. And you also have the HSBC Visa Infinite Card, which is giving you 1 mile per dollar. So Amex Plat ranks the lowest among the 120k segment, and honestly, there are so many other credit cards that only have a 30,000 annual income requirement that give you higher miles per dollar, like UOB Privy Miles, which I believe they give 1.4 miles per dollar. So for me, why I still think it's worth it for me to get it, because first of all, I have another card that I use to accumulate points or miles. I use my Premier Banking OCBC Voyage, which gives me 1.6 miles per dollar. Right, so what I utilize my Amex Platinum Card for is more for Tower Club access. I like to conduct my business meetings there. I mean, it's relatively near my office. It's only a 5 to 6 minute drive. I like to do work there from time to time in the afternoon because it's really quiet, it's really conducive. At the same time, you can actually network at Tower Club, and the people you meet there are of a certain caliber, they are of a certain financial status. I've also met a couple of C-suites in large MNCs or corporate companies from having dinner at Tower Club. So I think to me, these are the kind of benefits that I'm looking for, not so much, like I said, monetarily benefiting from the points or the dollar to points conversion. Oh, and another thing that is not so much related to my work is myself as a new or aspiring content creator on YouTube. I also take a look at what's out there in the market on a local context. I realized that there are not many people who post content about cards like these. You rarely see people doing Amex Plat reviews on a local context. I mean, if you look at US, there are a lot of people doing reviews. Most of the content that people put out there on a local context are more for mass market. So I don't want to go into a red ocean and fight with the other content creators on YouTube who already have such a big name and big following. I want to do something that's a little bit more niche. I kind of want to do a bit more content on things that not many people are willing to share, right? Because I have a lot of friends who are actually AMEX Platinum Card holders. They are DBS private banking members, Citigo members, but they aren't really willing to share, and it might not necessarily be because they're selfish, but could also potentially be because it's just time consuming and tedious on their end to be editing videos, you know, and thinking of content to put out there. So I thought to myself, maybe I could break into this market and share about the more niche side of things, especially on a local context. So yeah, if you ask me, while I agree $1,728 per annum is a bit steep in terms of value for money, I still think it's worth it for me because I'm trying to build my YouTube channel. I'm trying to create content that's a little bit more niche, content that not many people are willing to share about, that I will share because I know for a fact that there are a lot of people who are curious. You might not necessarily be able to apply for this credit card. You might not have hit the requirements, right? But it doesn't mean that you can't be interested to find out more, right? Potentially, you know that maybe next year I will hit that annual income. So I want to find out more about it, you know, prep myself beforehand. I just want to find out what are the perks, whether it's worth it. There's not much content out there. So I want to be that, I guess you can say, that pioneer in content such as this, right? So in conclusion, it really depends on what your definition of worth it is. I know I didn't really cover the travel benefits of AMEX Platinum Card, which is mainly what it's used for. But I personally, I'll be honest, I haven't traveled a lot, especially because of COVID. And now that the borders are opening, maybe in my 1 or 2 years' time, I will release another video talking about how the perks of AMEX Platinum Card travel rewards are. Right, but as of now, I personally have not had the experience, so I can't really share much on that particular topic. Okay, so on to the last segment, Q&A. So for most vlogs that I do, I typically like to post on my Instagram a poll, or not so much a poll, but just to ask my followers, you know, if there are any questions that you would like me to cover, and then I'll cover it at the end of the vlog. So I've gathered a couple of questions. Let me just answer them one by one. Okay, the first question, do people treat you differently when you pay with your AMEX Platinum Card? Actually, no, because like I said, I rarely use the AMEX Platinum Card because it's 0.78 miles per dollar. At the same time, I only really used my Platinum Card a lot during the first 3 months because back then when I applied, they had a promotion giving 100,000 points for spending 20,000 within the first 6 months. After that, I rarely use my AMEX Platinum Card now. The only place where I use my AMEX Platinum Card regularly is SPC, where I pump my petrol on a weekly basis because it gives me the highest discount. So the only people that ever see me using my AMEX Platinum Card to pay are typically just the cashiers at SPC, and they're rather nonchalant about it. I mean, I think they've probably seen a lot more AMEX Platinum Cards lah. So I think in this current day and age, like I said, so many millennials are becoming millionaires. So honestly, this Platinum Card is going to be so common. Okay, so the next question is highly asked, and it's, can you drop the card? And it's actually quite underwhelming because it's heavy. I'll give it to you, it's heavy, but it's not fully metal. It's plastic and metal. It's definitely heavier than most metal cards, but this one is, when it drops, it still sounds like plastic. So I'll give you guys some contrast with my OCBC Voyage, which is actually full metal. Yeah, so you guys can hear the difference, the huge difference between a full metal card and something that is plastic and metal. Yeah, this sounds very much like plastic, but it's really heavy. It's much heavier than my OCBC Voyage. I think 3 to 4 times heavier. Next, if you were offered the Centurion card despite the $10,000 annual fee, would you take it? Okay, I think in Singapore it's not. I think it's like a $7,500 initiation fee and another $7,500 annual fee, which brings the total to $15,000. Would I take it? I will be more than happy to apply for it because, like I said, I want to do content that is more for the niche sector. So I've never seen a Centurion card review or unboxing in Singapore. So if I were given that chance, I would gladly take it. I'll do it. I'll pay that $15,000 willingly just to make content for you guys. Next, is it much more convenient to travel abroad? I have no idea. Like I said, I haven't traveled in the past 1 to 2 years. Well, no, okay, I have traveled to Amsterdam and Paris last year, but I didn't really, because it was a company thing, so I didn't really get to experience a lot of the lounge access. I didn't really get to utilize the concierge that often. So as of now, no, I can't give comment on this. Next question, can you waive off the annual fee? Not that I know of. I know for my OCBC Voyage, if you spend 60,000 a year, you can waive off the annual fee. But for the AMEX Plat card, not that I know of. I can check with my concierge, but I don't think you can waive off the annual fee for Amex. Maybe unless you spend like $1 million on it and you can just call in and yeah. But for myself, someone who spends like what, $1,000 on Amex every month, no, I don't think you can waive off the annual fee. Right, the next question is roughly what does your income need to be to apply for this card? Like I mentioned, it used to be 200,000 a year. Now it's just 120,000. Like I said, for self-employed persons, you need 2 years worth of notice of assessment, your NOA. But if you're an employed person, all you need to do is just show 3 months of your CPF statement. So next question is, 1 year in, how are the rewards any good? Right, like I said, I know this is a traveler's card, but I can't really comment on that because I've not been traveling a lot. But for the other perks that they give me, Tower Club access, they also give you prestige statuses for certain hotel loyalty programs like Marriott Bonvoy Gold Elite status, Pan Pacific Discovery Platinum membership, Hilton Honors Gold status. You also have Radisson Rewards Gold status, and a bunch of other clubs that they invite you to complimentary. And like I said, some of the vouchers, auto rewards chair, auto massage chair. I think these are certain perks that I'm fine with paying the 1,700 a year for. Next, does this card come with a concierge service? If it does, have you ever used it? Yes, it does. Like I said, 24/7 concierge service. Yeah, so I've called them to make reservations for Tower Club. So a little bit of a pointer to note, you can't actually call Tower Club to make the booking, which I think is a little bit silly. I have to call my Amex concierge or email them to get them to make a reservation at Tower Club. Right, so I think that's the most I use the concierge for. Next, what happens if you misplace the metal card? Will they send you a replacement for free? Haha. Yeah, actually, I just called in my concierge a couple of days ago to check for you. They actually will send you a replacement card for free. You don't have to pay any penalties. So this next question is not remotely related to the Amex Plat card at all. Are you still holding Neo? Yeah, so I am still holding Neo and I've been averaging down. I think my average is around high 9s. Okay, next question. Do the benefits apply internationally? For example, able to enjoy US AMEX Platinum perks? Not that I know of, because I know for US you have complimentary membership to Equinox, which is their version of a very high-class, up-class gym. But in Singapore, you don't have any sort of gym memberships. Actually, it would be good for them to add it in, right? Because if they do have, then I definitely would start to work out more often. Okay, I guess you get access to Tower Club's gym. Next, is it tough enough to make a dent on the wall? Lel, haha. Not that I've tried. Right, so yeah, that essentially wraps it up for today's vlog. Hope I've kept it short. I'm actually trying to keep my vlogs really short, maybe under 12 to 13 minutes, but I don't know how long this has stretched to. But yeah, thanks for watching. And again, as I always say, do let me know if I have missed out any questions that you'd like me to answer. Yeah, and thanks. I'll see you guys in the next vlog.